Welcome to the Knuckleheads of Liberty.
Well, speaking of, I was talking about unscientific scientists. We have surprisingly I guess, economically educated economists, I guess, as well. And that brings us to sort of Krugman and his, I guess I want to call it Krugmanomics because it doesn't really feel like economics. It just feels like whatever the shepherd says, that's what his followers are supposed to take. But Krugman has come out recently and says, well, it doesn't really matter whether or not you call it a recession or not. Well, that's kind of funny because he wasn't really voicing that opinion earlier. He just seems to be voicing that now that his team seems to need an assist. So and it's kind of a cowardly way to come out to say, well, it doesn't really matter, instead of just clearly backing his side, right? He wants to give himself a little bit of a fig leaf, I guess, if it ever blows back on him. But it's just ridiculous, and he's calling this negativity bias is what this is all. Well, the bottom line is, if the definition was 2 quarters of negative growth, if that was the standard definition before, then it is or it isn't. We can either measure that. And it's one thing, it's an honest thing to say, hey, look, it's true that this says it's a recession, but maybe there's some positive indicators we can feel good about. Okay, you can make that argument. But to sit there and act like, that, well, the numbers don't matter, that don't help me, so we're just not going to talk about that right now. And let me just give you a little bit of Krugman's background for those who may not be well versed in Krugmanomics. So Krugman, before Biden came into office, he was talking about the coming Biden boom. And that seems to be yet one of the many predictions that he's made that seem to be rah-rah for the left. It never seemed to quite come true. And I also wanted to bring back to his famous quote, and he tries to say, well, this was just sort of a joke. But, just given the fact that he's so one-sided, I think, we can be a little one-sided in not giving him any charity on this one either. But he said the growth of the internet so this is before, the internet was a big thing, right? He said the growth of the internet will slow drastically as the flaw in Metcalfe's law, which states that the number of potential connections in a network is proportional to the square of the number of participants, becomes apparent. Most people have nothing to say to each other. Oh my God, has he not seen social media? He says by 2005 or so, it will become clear that the internet's impact on the economy has been no greater than the fax machine. So that was Paul Krugman post 2005, I guess, maybe that was back in the 90s. I'm not sure the exact date of that. But it's just, one thing after another. And yet this guy is celebrated in the New York Times as the guru for economics. Anyways, you guys want to take a swing at Krugman?
I mean, how this guy won a Nobel Prize in economics is beyond me. But I guess that says something about the politics of the committee who make the selection. I mean, Paul Krugman have been wrong on almost everything that he have ever predicted. Almost everything. Go back and look at his record. It is horrible. Okay, I'm sure he have had a few cases where he was right about something or the other. But you go back and look at most of the things that he have ever predicted in big public pronouncements, he been wrong. The man is a jack. Oh God, I can't say that. I'm sorry. Okay, the man is a JA. Let's put it that way, and could never get anything right. And he keeps coming at us with these nonsensical things. Now, just to save Biden from the political damage of having presided over a recession, now he's trying to tell us, oh, we're not in a recession and it really does not matter. The economy is what it is. Yeah, we know that. We know the economy is what it is. But we are in a recession by the definition we all knew. The gross domestic product is the largest measure, is the broadest measure of economic activity. And if we see it shrinking, something is wrong. We know something is going wrong in the economy. It does not mean that everything is wrong, but something in general is wrong. And something needs to be fixed and corrected. But Krugman have to defend his political friends. So he have to come up with this nonsense. This so-called esteemed economist. He have to come up with this nonsense. This man should retire and just shut his mouth and go retire to some quiet island somewhere and never speak again. And he will help the world, the United States and the world greatly by doing that.
Well, I'll say it. Paul Krugman is an economic donkey. There, I said it. So, yeah, and apparently, although people don't have anything to say to each other, well, he's got way too much to say. That's all.
Yes, definitely.
He's got way too much to say, and he ought to stop saying it. But
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, always and forever.